Welcome, people of planet Earth and all planets beyond. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Josh, and my family buy and sell things from thrift stores, flea markets, and yard sales to support ourselves as our full-time job. And we're going to go over our number one best thrift find this week. Normally we do 5, but I found a really cool piece, so I want to show that off and talk about how I sort of get an idea of what to do with it. So let's get into it. So we actually only thrifted, I think, one day this week, which is really unusual. But the one day was really, really good. Got a lot of stuff, including this guy right here. Now, when I found this, I found it at a flea market, and amongst a bunch of apparently World War II stuff. And I was really curious about it. I have found stuff like this before, and was really, really interested in it, and they only had $20 on it, and I was like, okay, this seems like a pretty good buy. It's a really cool piece at the very least, and $20 is crazy. So I got it and brought it home, started doing some research on it. And so what I found out about these particular type of jackets, I'll show you this a little bit more here. We have this jacket. It's like a satin jacket, kind of a bomber jacket style. And it's reversible, actually. You flip it over, and you can flip it completely inside out. I'm not going to do all of it right now, but it has another design on the back, and it's super cool. So it turns out that what these are, actually, is these were really common post-World War II souvenirs around that came from Japan around the 1950s. So it kind of makes sense with all of this World War II stuff that I found, like uniforms and jackets and stuff, that one of those guys may have brought back one of these souvenirs like many soldiers did, and this was one of those souvenirs that was brought back from the 50s. It could be a little bit older, or a little bit younger, excuse me. Unlikely to be much older than that. But it's super incredibly cool. It's got some stains, obviously it's old. So when I was looking at it, I was concerned that I was going to make sure that it was as old as I thought it was. Now, there are only a few ways to determine this. One is that we can notice there aren't any markings, there aren't any care tags, nothing like that, which would be appropriate for the 1950s. Then I took a look at the zipper here. The zipper is a fairly old YKK zipper, which YKK was a Japanese zipper company. They pretty much make all just like 80-75% of zippers in the world today. But they started in 1930, so it would not be uncommon to find a YKK zipper on one of these jackets, though there are a lot of other zippers that might be the case. I have not completely concluded that this particular zipper is from the 1950s. It's really hard to find out some of this information. But as far as I can tell, this was a zipper that would have been approximately around that time. Then you can just kind of tell from the general wear, like with this, with the knitting here, it's definitely very old. It definitely feels like cotton or some organic materials, which later on some of these materials were made of more synthetic materials. I took it into, because I was going to get it dry cleaned, and it turned, the dry cleaner was real concerned about, because of the age, that it would tear up some of this satin, and it's probably very true. So, anyways, these jackets, outside of being incredibly cool looking, are actually relatively pretty valuable. Selling from anywhere from like $200 all the way to $500, $600, depending on the design. And clearly they have the Japanese islands on the back here. Incredibly well done embroidery. The jackets again look exceptional. And so primarily it came down to, did the general construction look correct for a period piece from the 1950s? And it did. You can see we have these triangles here on the pockets, which was common for jackets similar to this from that era. And all of the artwork looked similar to the stuff that I was finding online. So we had the zipper, we have the pockets that looked right, we had the embroidery and a general material construction. All that lended it to me to suggest that this really was 1950s, even if it was maybe late 1950s. So I'm going to advertise it as that, somewhere around that range, because I do believe that is correct. And of course, if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments below if you guys know more information about it than I do. But I did try my best to research it, and that's typically how I approach anything like this. Is when I find a garment, I want to look at some of the key pieces and factors, like the zipper. What zipper is it? Is it a YKK zipper? Is it an Ideal? Is it a gripper zipper? Is it Scoville? Is it Talon? Those are all really common zippers, and they all can sort of be traced to certain time periods. In this case, it's a YKK zipper made of metal, not plastic. The materials used on the different trims definitely give us an older vibe rather than some of the newer, more synthetic feeling materials, and the overall construction. And then you also need to factor in where you found it. If you just found it by itself out in the thrift store, it's going to be really hard to determine whether or not that is an actual period piece. But I did find it with very old military uniforms that at least traced to the 1950s. So this was found with a cache of other 1950s and 40s items, so I can be much more confident in that this came with that collection, most likely from Japan. So I really love this piece. It's going to go up for sale. I can't, unfortunately, probably dry clean it, at least not in the facilities I have near me. Hopefully the next buyer will be able to find an appropriate cleaning solution if they really want to clean it. There is a repair that needs to be done inside here, and so that will obviously get done. But otherwise, what an incredibly cool piece of history and of fashion. Super dope, incredible piece. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.